To introduce this lesson, Understanding Wood, I've positioned myself in front of this very large Jeffrey pine. This tree is about 20 feet from my shop door. In the years I've been doing woodworking, it's probably gained over a foot in diameter. My kids used to have a tree house in this tree. I want to convince you about the dangers of cross-grain joinery. Cross-grain, a horizontal grain going to a vertical grain. This can cause all kinds of problems in your segmented work. I hope to convince you to avoid cross-grain joinery. There have been many books written on the subject of wood properties, but perhaps Hordley's Understanding Wood is the very best of the bunch. My own book, The Art of Segmented Wood Turning, contains a chapter that discusses the unique properties of this material. If you only remember one thing about wood, remember that it moves sideways. It does not move lengthwise, it only moves sideways. Don't be fooled into thinking that multiple coats of finish will prevent moisture from affecting wood movement. A good finish is important. It will slow down the effect of moisture, but it will not prevent it. All these joints that I'm showing here are doomed for failure. There will be too much movement and the joints will fail. Now, I think most people would agree that joinery like that, with horizontal grain here, vertical grain here, and these kind of dimensions, there's just no way this is going to last, this would stay together. This is kind of a no-brainer. We just don't do this. The question is, when can you get away with it? When can you put one piece to another piece and feel confident? How small does it have to be before you have the confidence to put something like that together? I used to think an inch was safe. I've changed my mind on that. Then I went to 3/4 inch. I've changed my mind on that. Now I rarely will go more than a 1/2 inch of cross grain, and even that I try to avoid. I try to avoid all cross grain, but occasionally something in the 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch dimension does slip into my work. You just have to make that decision yourself, but I would recommend not going much more than about a 1/2 inch of cross grain dimension. It may not fall apart, but a ridge will develop, stress will develop in the joint, and it just won't be as good as it would have been if you'd avoided that cross grain. There are so many different species with different densities and different tendencies to move with moisture content change. But if you just remember to align all that wood grain the same direction, you'll be well on your way to creating successful turnings. I want to show you a couple of examples of certainly big mistakes I made not knowing what I was doing when I first started. Examples of very poor construction involving cross-grain joinery. This piece here, a flat vase made up of 2 plates, but as you can see the cross-grain joinery is very apparent. You can hear it, it's rattling, it's falling apart. I can even, show you how badly this seam has failed. This thing is literally falling apart. It lasted probably a 1.5 years before it started to fall apart. So, a fair amount of work went into this, but it was a big failure, and it didn't do the field of segmented wood turning any favors. Here's another example. This is the top neck portion of a very large 3-foot tall vessel. Well, on top of these vertical staves, there used to be a collar. And well, as you can see, we've got vertical grain, horizontal grain. It took 3 or 4 years for this to finally come apart, and eventually it totally failed, so I just pulled it apart. Now what's interesting here is this joint completely failed, and then this joint here completely failed, where there were more staves that came up to this horizontal seam. but this horizontal seam against this vertical grain is as solid today as it was when it was glued. There's no way to really predict what happened here. I don't know why this is still together, but this one failed and this one failed.
Here's a much more recent example of how to do things right. There's wood that appears to be going both horizontal and vertical. However, all the wood grain in this window is going horizontal. This is a leftover window from a piece I did a while back called Men in the Shadows.
In addition to the importance of consistent wood grain alignment, there's also the issue of wood moisture content. Wood has moisture. If it didn't, it would probably fall apart into dust. What's important is to use wood that's completed its drying process. If it were in a kiln, it may have been dried down to, say, 6%. Air-dried wood is, a number of percentage points above that. What's important is that you use dry wood, and dry wood that's all approximately the same dryness. Avoid putting 6% wood up against 12% wood. The 12% wood, in all likelihood, is going to shrink some more. And while it's shrinking, the 6% wood may take on some moisture and it may expand a little bit. So consistent moisture content is the key. Something under 10% in the 8% range is pretty safe. Now, how do you measure that? You use one of these devices, a moisture meter. And it's important to know how to use a moisture meter.
I have my meter set on the lower setting between 6 and 20%. Inserting the probes into the outside of a board is pretty ineffective. I want to know what the moisture is in the middle. By making a rip cut, I can now put my probes on the inside of the board and get a true accurate reading of the moisture content. I'm fortunate to live in a very dry climate, especially the summer, and this board still measures at 6%. The bottom line is, put your vessels together the same way Mother Nature puts her trees together, with consistent wood grain alignment. Avoid cross-grain joinery. If you do that, and you keep your wood dry, you'll be well on your way to creating successful segmented wood turnings.